Steve Johnson told us at the desk here.
Oh,
Air One is on
hit
scene.
a
You can just see
power
he just
pole.
hit that power pole at Walnut and Walker.
122nd Walker.
About 122nd.
I'm sorry, Walker and 122nd,
Okay.
Jolene.
It looks like they've got their guns drawn there. The driver can't get out.
Yeah.
Someone's coming out of the back.
There he goes. Yeah, apparently
His hands
there's
up.
at least one person in there. He just came out of the back.
So officers surrounding that vehicle. One person out. Okay, looks like they're dragging him out right now. Officers with their guns drawn.
Yeah, he
This
was
is
on his phone.
on his cell phone.
Yeah, obviously he came out of there with his hands up.
Uh-huh.
And then pulled the second hand down, and he was still talking on his cell phone here. So they're about to get him into custody.
Uh-huh.
Then they'll be able to see if there really is only one person in the car, Jolene.
And it doesn't look like he is helping them out at all. Okay, he's out of the vehicle
no,
now,
he's not.
on the ground.
Yep, and one thing we're curious to see now is there going to be some power issues associated with knocking this power pole down. Thankfully, it didn't come down on the police officers there, but obviously there's going to be a little bit of a cleanup here.
Well, it's definitely not stable right now, and it looks like they are hitting the windows there to see if there's anyone else inside the vehicle and what's going on in there as they have the suspect on the ground. Again, this is 122nd and Walker, where a chase just wrapped up after the driver of that SUV hit a power pole, lost control while trying to make the turn there, and then crawls out of the passenger back window with his hands up. And John, you said he was on his cell phone and then really didn't help officers out by climbing out, so they dragged him out. Do they have him in?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Obviously in an accident like this, you expect to see some damage, to the individual. Maybe he's injured. He just hit that telephone pole head or that power pole head on, knocked it clean, and then gets out of the back, So
But still with the cell
obviously
phone to his
probably
ear.
wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and really kind of has no disregard for the police officers giving his commands. Come out of the car. He's still on his cell phone talking. So
Sure. And it
a
looks like
crazy
they-
situation here. Luckily, nobody was injured.
And that's the good news here, because he blew through several intersections, running red lights, and they were weaving in and out of traffic, going about 80 miles per hour on city streets. And it looks like they've got him in handcuffs at the back of one of those patrol cars there. Again, this is near Northwest 122nd and Walker. Suspect now in custody, and they are placing him in the back of one of those police units. And we know they were looking inside of that SUV to see if there was anyone else inside, a passenger, or if that driver was by himself. It appears it was just the driver, who is now in the back of one of those police units.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like, Jolene. Obviously, they've been able to break the front windscreen or the windshield out. It doesn't appear there's anybody else in the car.
Good news here, nobody hurt. We're not sure about the driver, but obviously not hurt too badly as he climbed out of the back of that vehicle on his cell phone and now in custody in the back of the police unit there. And it didn't look like he hit any other vehicles. I don't know at what point you got in on this chase, but from what we could see, it didn't look like there was anyone hurt. He didn't clip any vehicles while weaving in and out of traffic. And it looks like he is now...
Yeah, Jolene, we didn't see. We picked him up, like I said, at about...
And it looks like we are... John, how's traffic right now?
Yeah, really, it's flowing pretty decently. It's funny you say that. Air One, I guess the police officer just asked them how traffic looked, and it's actually going pretty decent here. The westbound lanes are obviously closed down, but as far as eastbound lanes, there's still one lane. The far north lane is still open.
And this is in the afternoon now, so there are a lot of people out and about. As we saw some of that traffic, the driver weaving in and out somehow did not clip or hit any other vehicles, especially while going through some of those red lights that he went through. and then trying to make this turn here near Northwest 122nd and Walker. But that suspect now in custody. I believe we have a crew on the ground. Lauren Fultonberg is pretty close to the scene, and we'll be able to speak with him as soon as he gets there, John. But again, traffic looks like, well, I see an ambulance on scene. What is that suspect in the police car, or is he now in the back of the ambulance to be checked out? Looks like someone is
I think he's still in the back of the police car, but I think they're probably gonna check him out. We've heard, and obviously this is not confirmed, but just radio traffic, that this might be a potential homicide suspect. So that might be the reason for him eluding police and starting this chase here. Obviously, as you can see, the ambulance just arrived on scene. At this time, I don't believe he's in the back there. We still think he's in the back of one of here. Mentioned that they might shut down traffic here, that they are going to shut down traffic, and it appears that they did at this time. Now they're just bringing everybody around through this neighborhood here on the south side of 122nd as they clean this investigation up.
Detouring traffic there. John Welsh and Bob Moore, Chomper 4. At the end of a chase near Northwest 122nd and Walker. We do have a ground crew that is arriving there shortly, and we'll have more information coming up at 4 o'clock. For now, we're going to send you back to programming.
In September 2016 near downtown LA. Little is known about the perpetrator, but chances are the shiny black SUV he's driving has been stolen. At this point, many officers are in pursuit of the vehicle and have successfully blocked several points of an intersection. It is very likely that the driver was intoxicated or somehow inebriated during the time of the chase, because he quickly panics while turning left through an intersection. He immediately slams the SUV into a metal pole and drags it a few feet. The SUV begins to emit smoke, and a small fire can be seen emanating from under the hood of the car. The driver attempts to back up, but cannot dislodge the vehicle from the street sign. Seconds later, the driver flees the vehicle, frantically running across the street. It is unclear whether the police threatened to shoot him, or if the man's intoxication causes him to fall, but nonetheless he flails to the ground and is quickly apprehended. Both state and local police were quickly informed and followed the red SUV in a hot pursuit. Thinking it would be easier to lose the police by getting off the highway, the driver and his accomplice exit the highway in the Redford area. They continue to flee for several minutes until they accidentally collide with a Coca-Cola delivery truck. Both men leapt out of the vehicle and began to run on foot. The accomplice is quickly apprehended off camera, but the driver manages to run off the road and through a residential neighborhood. Unfortunately for him, a police chopper has been waiting from the air the entire time. They easily follow his every move as he leaps over fences and weaves his way through several backyards. After a few minutes, the criminal makes an ingenious decision to hide under a trampoline. The chopper quickly radios to officers on foot, and the young man is quickly captured. Several commentators have
Action. Making a
And there it is, DPS right there, baby. DPS. So you got a weapon. Keep it left side a little bit. Left. 550.
Sounds like they just performed a hit at Nub Valley, east of 17.
Multiple units, 550,
All right, folks. Finally has come to an end here.
Firebird DPS,
This was the only way they were going to get this guy to stop. Here comes the
There we
dog.
Firebird, I copy you got him at Dove Valley, 1340.
Hey, 15, I got you.
Copy.
All right, now they think he has a weapon, folks.
Ten to Central, good day.
510, good day, 1348.
5 same traffic.
515, 1348.
Okay, they're getting ready to let the dog go. They've got their shields. Let's see what happens here. There goes the dog.
527.
Dove Valley and North Valley Parkway. Come on, get him, Fido. See if he's still responsive.
Ten four, sir. 1349.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have flames coming out of what appears to be the yellow Corvette. So here are some live images from the ground right there. Our crews are tracking what's happening from the air and on the ground, and you can see flames coming from what appears to be the engine right there.
Yeah, you can see obviously the suspect has been removed from the vehicle. Nobody is in that car anymore, and that car is on fire, and they're just standing back, and it's a tight shot. We don't see any fire units in the scene, but I imagine they'll want to put this out pretty quickly. Here we go. Okay, looks like they're bringing some hoses up to put out the fire. That is the yellow Corvette that led police on a chase lasting, gosh, close to half an hour. In far north Phoenix.
There's a fire, some responders there, so
yeah.
it appears they are there to help out in this situation. But again, unknown who the suspect is and why they were following him in the first place.
Okay, go the other way. Go the other way. He's dead in the street.
Vehicles that did have their lights on, and so it does appear at this point that that was most likely a law enforcement officer who was inside that SUV.
All right, excuse me, Charlie. We just have this new information in right now. Police are now saying, you know, we pulled back from that scene for a reason. There was an officer-involved shooting. Police shot the suspect in that car. The body is covered. We can see that from Sky 12 overhead. So it appears chase has ended with that yellow Corvette in flames. The suspect shot dead by police at the scene. Chase over. Suspect dead. And as we said earlier, it appears, fortunately, no other people were harmed during this roughly 30-minute long chase.
Thank goodness. A lot of close calls.
Copy. Whew. Holy cow.
outside the vehicle, hands up, and they want them to usually throw the keys out as well. And it looks like this driver appears to be surrendering. There's a number of reasons why he may have done it right where he did it. One being perhaps running out of gas. Two being perhaps I don't know if they've been able to negotiate with this person on the phone, but ultimately it looks like, don't know if there's another person in the vehicle. We just know of the driver at this point. But if this person is in fact giving up, there's a specific number of instructions that these officers give them to protect themselves from any potential harm that this person might be willing to do to them, given the erratic nature of the situation. And right now it appears that they're following those instructions.
Right. Again, they're telling them to move slowly, keep their hands up where they can see them. They will likely have this person with their hands up walk about 10 to 15 feet away from the vehicle and face away from them. So be facing continually northbound on the 67, hands up, and then get on their knees and lie flat on the pavement there, where they are unable to reach for any type of weapon or be a threat to those officers. At that point, when the police feel like it is safe, they will approach that driver and hopefully cuff them without any type of further incident. I am noticing, Andrew, if you look at that first cop car there in the front row on the left, you see the canine that is out. We've seen a couple different chases also recently up in Los Angeles where they did send that canine to get the driver because the driver wasn't complying and they felt like their safety was at risk. And let me tell you, you get that canine unleashed on you and you're not going anywhere.
No, it's worth noting this is live, so there's a lot of different situations that could play out, so we're just kind of keeping an eye from a distance here with Skyfox above and hoping that this goes as police plan, which is to get this driver with their hands up and to surrender safely. And it appears that they're out of the car. It looks like they have their hands up. You never know, though. I mean, if they go to reach for something, you know, cops have to protect themselves, and that can end in a way that we don't want to see. But it looks like this guy does have his hands up and is backing up. Hands are on the top of the trunk right there. And hands are now, it looks like, okay, now he's lying down on the ground. Kind of surprising to see him how close he is to the vehicle, because like you said, Jen, often they get him away from the vehicle, but that guy is doing what they're asking, which is lying on the ground, hands behind his head. And now officers will slowly approach as they are. Look how many there are. There's at least a dozen of them swarming in. Now their job's not over, because now they have to look in the vehicle. They have to make sure there's no other people, no other potential threats, maybe look for evidence. They have to open the trunk. They have to go through a number of steps now to make sure that this threat is in fact over, because it's a situation where they have a lot of unknowns. And now that process begins as they take this driver into custody.
Looks like he was the only person in the vehicle. I'm not seeing anybody else get out of the car, and here they are, again, taking that person in custody. It is a man. Right? It looks like that is a guy, yes. It looks like he's wearing a suit, actually. They're walking him back. He is in handcuffs. They will put him in the car there. You see there's a couple canine units. Notice the top of the SUVs there indicating that those were canine units. I also saw a couple undercover
We have the subject, Okay, we're stopping.
We are just a few minutes away from opening up the road to a brand new highway 5 East things out of
Okay, stop.
Call 911, Chris.
Okay, we're stopping.
We are just a few minutes away from opening up the road to a brand new highway 5 East things out of
Okay, stop.
Call 911, Chris.
The car just stopped.
Well, he was under power there. He may have just stopped. Now they got 3 police cars around him right now. This is the end of the pursuit.
Do you see
Got
the
a
hands?
citizen in the way here.
Passenger side, hands up.
And
Door
right
open.
now they're giving him orders, telling him to come out of that car, put his hands out of the window, throw the keys outside to make sure that car doesn't move. And as you can see, they've set up pretty much behind him. Other units are probably clearing off to the left side of the screen here, clearing people away just in case there's any shots fired. Again, they're looking at a robbery suspect. We believe this car was taken in a carjacking.
It looks like those were the keys that came out of the window, Jim. I saw
Yeah, the
something
keys out.
being thrown out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just threw the keys out of the car. 2 sets of hands out the windows here. This is on Maubert and Vermont, we're understanding.
Robert and Vermont, you said?
It looks like Maubert, M-A-U-B-E-R-T.
Okay.
Right now you can see they're pretty much trying to communicate with him. One of the reasons they have him throw the keys out is, of course, to immobilize the car, but also to gain compliance. Once they get a sequence of compliance from a suspect, then they can anticipate that he's going to follow through, which is why they give them commands, and they'll usually follow those commands with a "do it now," and they try to get him on that path, if you will, so they can detect very quickly if he starts to differ or resist.
We're trying to see what they're dealing with here.
So it does look like there's more than just the driver in that car. So at least one other person, at least.
Okay, here's someone coming out right now.
Okay, there's the driver.
What's so scary is to see this person not only just weaving through the freeway, also the surface streets, but to go on the sidewalk. You don't often see that.
Yeah, it does look like he is complying. He's slowly coming out of that car, which is what officers want. Very slow and controlled movement on the part of that suspect.
Okay.
And again, they're going to stay at a position of cover behind their vehicles because, once again, we do have information, or at least we believe that this is a robbery suspect.
Okay.
We had heard that this was a carjacking at a gas station down in the south part of Los Angeles, and it's very possible that because they were going for gas, he did run out of gas.
Maybe.
Okay. We'll see. True. You're right. Okay, so the person's getting out. Now we'll see them eventually get out. They'll get them down, face down, correct?
Whoa,
he's getting back. He's getting back in the car.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so here he is now, not following commands. Remember what I said before.
Right.
Now
Yes.
he's not complying, so now he's beginning to resist here at this point.
Right.
But he doesn't have the keys, so he's just going to
That's
barricade
right, he
himself.
threw the key out
threw
of the
key
window.
People usually aren't thinking clearly.
Well, you can't assume for sure that those were the car keys. Again, police
That's
officers are saying
true.
now, were those the car keys or
Could
were
have
those
been
another set of keys?
Any set of keys. You're right.
And now he's back in that car. There's a possibility he could start it back
Now
up.
the
The
passenger. Oh,
Okay, the passenger's out with his hands up.
backing up. That's what they're told to do.
And
Exactly.
then get on the ground, legs apart.
Are we for sure that there were 2 people in the car?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, this is a totally different individual here.
Okay, so this is the
seat.
passenger.
Okay, so there you go.
The
Down on
driver.
your knees. Having trouble doing that.
This guy's complying.
The driver has other plans. Let's
You
see
know,
what
it's
they
If you
are.
very
notice above
interesting.
this individual's left hand, it looks like that's where the keys landed, right there, just above the
Oh.
passenger's left hand.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think he's trying to
Now,
grab
the
it?
interesting part of this,
He's grabbing
He's
the
grabbing
keys?
keys.
Grabbing
What
the
is he
keys.
doing?
No.
Shouldn't he
Wait.
be down on the ground, Jim?
What is-
Yes,
What's going on?
he's definitely not.
This
He's
is
not
not
complying
good.
at this point.
Okay, no, they got him. They got him.
Oh,
He's not
Okay.
moving well, though. There's something
he's
off.
Something's
back.
off.
Something's off. Because usually they would go up to him and get him up. So he
That
was
was a little bit-
herky
that
jerky
was
and
scary.
moving.
Okay.
I don't know what was going on there.
So the driver's still in the car. And
Now
as
they're
far
going
as we
to try and get that driver
Right.
to come out of that car. But
Who
this
knows,
is not
maybe
really
there's someone
police
else in
work.
the car.
101, you normally would have that second suspect come back. You wouldn't want to have him lay down in front where they'd have to go out and arrest him. They did finally have him come back, but why he laid down in the front is kind of odd.
Oh,
to me.
okay. So they would want him to walk back into him, which is what he eventually did?
Exactly. They wouldn't want him to lay down because then they would have to approach him if they have to handcuff him, putting him in danger of the driver who got back in the car.
And you don't know if he's armed, and you kind of tend to assume a carjacking, more often than not, there is typically some type of weapon involved to be able to get the car.
Now, it appears that the officer on the right side of the screen here is communicating with him, giving him hand motions, talking to him, trying to get the driver to come back out. The passenger door is still open, and there's a possibility he may slide over, but we see some kind of movement inside the driver's side of that car, so it's unclear exactly what he's doing.
Okay, so if you're just joining us, just to recap, this chase ended at the intersection of Maubert at Vermont. It started down in the Harbor District. We're told this car was carjacked from someone who was filling up at a gas station. There, we believe to be at least 2 people. We don't know if there are more in this car.
Doors open.
Oh,
there it is.
Go. So the passenger is in custody right now in the back seat of the police car, and the driver was out of the car for a moment, went back in,
getting back out.
Dumping
No,
some
it appears he's
things
getting
out,
back out.
picking them up.
What is
This
he?
is probably not what police want him to be doing right now.
Why is okay?
Jim, he's
Unless he's completely impaired, this person is definitely
he's rolling.
Yeah.
That's odd. Haven't seen
stopped,
that.
He dropped and he rolled.
Okay.
Different.
Yeah. Yeah, right now they probably are thinking they've got someone who might be a little altered at this point, which doesn't make him any less dangerous, by the way.
No, well, I mean, the way they were driving all crazy across the streets and on the sidewalks, my
if
goodness.
they were, and oh my goodness, just luckily no one was hurt.
Yeah, their immediate action plan right now is to take him into custody, clear that car as quickly as they can so that he doesn't get back in that car and prolong
Right.
Right.
You can see him right now amassing
Guns
there
are
behind
gone.
an arrest team amassing behind the car on the left side of the screen, and they're probably going to move right out.
He's
and
definitely outnumbered here.
yeah, more officers are coming in from behind.
Here we go. Moving in.
Okay, they're moving in.
They're making sure there's no one else in that car.
And making sure there was no one that could be in the trunk. Anyone, you know, was taken for this joyride, if this is what this all was taken.
Yeah.
And one officer with an urban police rifle, which is definitely enough in case something happens at this scene.
Okay, so it looks like he's getting handcuffed. Right, it looks like he's slowing down here on the shoulder. We'll watch here to see what's going to happen, and presumably all these police officers are going to sort of create a horseshoe around him, or at least come up behind him. They are obviously now out of their vehicles using that front door as a shield, and now they will start talking to the driver as we see that driver has pulled over and is now starting to get out of the car.
So what they do is they instruct him pretty clearly here on what to do. They say if you're going to give up here, you have to put your hands outside the vehicle, hands up, and they want them to usually throw the keys out as well. And it looks like this driver appears to be surrendering. There's a number of reasons why he may have done it right where he did it. One being perhaps running out of gas. 2 being perhaps he, I don't know if they've been able to negotiate with this person on the phone, but ultimately it looks like, don't know if there's another person in the vehicle. We just know of the driver at this point. But if this person is in fact giving up, there's a specific number of instructions that these officers give them to protect themselves from any potential harm that this person might be willing to do to them, given the erratic nature of the situation. And right now it appears that they're following those instructions.
Right, again, they're telling them to move slowly, keep their hands up where they can see them. They will likely have this person with their hands up walk about 10 to 15 feet away from the vehicle and face away from them. So be facing continually northbound on the 67, hands up, and then get on their knees and lie flat on the pavement there, where they are unable to reach for any type of weapon or be a threat to those officers. At that point, when the police feel like it is safe, They will approach that driver and hopefully cuff them without any type of further incident. I am noticing, Andrew, if you look at that first cop car there in the front row on the left, you see the canine that is out. We've seen a couple different chases also recently up in Los Angeles where they did send that canine to get the driver because the driver wasn't complying and they felt like their safety was at risk. And let me tell you, you get that canine unleashed on you and you're not going anywhere.
No, it's worth noting this is live, so there's a lot of different situations that could play out, so we're just kind of keeping an eye from a distance here with Sky Fox above and hoping that this goes as police plan, which is to get this driver with their hands up and to surrender safely. And it appears that they're out of the car. It looks like they have their hands up. You never know, though. I mean, if they go to reach for something, you know, cops have to protect themselves, and that can end in a way that we don't want to see. But it looks like this guy does have his hands up and is backing up. Hands are on the top of the trunk right there. And hands are now, it looks like, okay, now he's lying down on the ground. Kind of surprising to see him how close he is to the vehicle, because like you said, Jen, often they get him away from the vehicle, but that guy is doing what they're asking, which is lying on the ground, hands behind his head. And now officers will slowly approach as they are. Look how many there are. There's at least a dozen of them swarming in. Now their job's not over, because now they have to look in the vehicle. They have to make sure there's no other people, no other potential threats, maybe look for evidence. They have to open the trunk. They have to go through a number of steps now to make sure that this threat is in fact over, because it's a situation where they have a lot of unknowns. And now that process begins as they take this driver into custody.
Looks like he was the only person in the vehicle. I'm not seeing anybody else get out of the car, and here they are, again, taking that person in custody. It is a man. Right? It looks like that is a guy, yes. It looks like he's wearing a suit, actually. They're walking him back. He is in handcuffs. They will put him in the car there. You see there's a couple canine units. Notice the top of the SUVs there indicating that those were canine units. I also saw a couple undercover.
Get out of the fucking car! Get out of the fucking car! Crawl out of the fucking door! Here, I got it. Hold on. Stop. I got it. Don't turn that off. Turn that siren off. And make sure they're okay in that truck. Keep your hands out, dude. Keep your hands out. What? Get it over there. Punch up, Brad. Close your eyes, Fred. All right. Get out and drop. Face down. Face down. Get your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back, dude. No! Oh! Watch the blood. Yeah, You're bleeding? Yeah. What? Liz. I got it all over. We got a squad coming? Yeah. Checking for guns. You got any weapons on you, dude? No. And why you running?
Another one took off over by Geppetto's. On foot.
He was with him?
On foot, yeah. Passenger.
All right. Tell the detectives.
They give it up to police that have to deal with these dangerous situations every day.
All the time. And, you know, we just show a little small fraction of what is happening. It looks like he is
yelling.
Yelling back to the police. Wow. Yeah. Once again, props to the police. You know, we just showcase a fraction of what they have to deal with, you know?
Oh, yeah. So, and again, you never know how these things end, and, you know, on the end of police having to chase them and then draw their guns because they don't know, is this guy under the influence? Does he have a weapon?
Yeah,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, he still could have a weapon, and he could just reach in there and really start some commotion there.
Appreciate you guys watching with us live here on Fox News Now, as well as Fox 10 Phoenix Facebook page. I'm your host, Mary Kay Gaffney, and my co-host, Mike Page. Are we streaming on Facebook, or are we just streaming on YouTube as well?
We are with Facebook as well, Fox 10 Phoenix, Facebook Live as well.
Again, wow, they also have their guns drawn. What do you think is going to happen, Mike?
Well, I'm hoping that it's going to end very peacefully. I hope that he's just going to get out of the car, take a couple steps backwards, and get to the ground so police can handcuff this individual. Here we go. Very tense situation still.
Getting out of the vehicle.
Now they're going to ask him to go backwards a couple steps and then get on the ground with his legs crossed.
So let's see. Can you imagine if you were in that neighborhood right now, looking out your window, seeing this all happen just right outside?
Yep. There we go. And he's going to lay. So he is right now following the officer's commands. And they're quickly going to get to the suspect. They also want to check the car to make sure that there's nobody in the car as well.
I wonder if these are, I mean, again, was the police station you covered earlier today in Los Angeles as well?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if these are the same officers. Like, wow, let's hit it again, boys. Let's get out there.
Yeah.
You know, they deal with this all the time in LA. And
sure
there's
do.
A protocol that, you know, they have to follow. You know, they draw their weapons because they don't know who's getting out of the car. But it looks like this guy's cooperating with police, so that's good.
Yeah, and we're hearing from local media reports there that the suspect is wanted for a prior shooting that happened earlier today.
Wow. So again, you guys, if you heard that, suspect wanted for a prior shooting that happened earlier today. That's the driver you're seeing there laying on the ground in the white t-shirt and jeans. Police still have their guns drawn behind their doors right now, giving him orders of what to do next.
Just another, I mean, those speeds were getting a little out of hand, especially when he veered off from the highway. Look at this whole street is now blocked, and look at that car there. We're hoping that they're going to have to do a rescue mission right now to get this driver out.
Oh wow, was there a driver? There was a driver in that car. I thought he was just parked on the side of the street.
Yeah, look, you can tell the way that they are frantically trying to get in.
Wow.
That's scary right there. Hopefully that driver is okay. Ouch, oh my.
Wow, I thought that car was just parked on the side of the street. I didn't see that there was someone actually in that vehicle.
I know, it was happening so fast, and we were just mentioning this earlier. You know, the suspect was putting so many lives at risk, and here's the reason that we were all worried about that this would happen, because those high rate of speeds in that neighborhood was just too much.
He was going so fast, Mike, I couldn't believe it. And seeing him go through those intersections, he hit two cars, right? We saw two? Yeah.
And look how great that the police are. One moment they are in a pursuit, and now they are in a rescue mission. Here we're taking you to the live takedown of this suspect. They do have that suspect now apprehended. Once again, local media reports they're saying the suspect was wanted for a prior shooting earlier today. So wow, just a stressful situation. Now let's get the camera now back on those cars there that were damaged, and hopefully the people in the car are okay.
Wow, yeah. Look at that. Does it look like they got him out yet, or they're still
No,
trying
you
there?
can-
And they're trying to get the car.
I think they need to flip
wow.
it first.
Yeah.
They want to flip it, but oh wow. So I was just saying, you know, one moment these police are in a pursuit, now they're in a rescue mission.
Yeah.
That just shows you, everyone, for everyone watching, we don't get to thank law enforcement enough, because what they have to put up with, what they have to do, and look at, they're going to flip it here, right here.
Look at this.
This is amazing.
You guys
Here
are
we
all
go.
watching this live right now on the Fox News Now stream out of Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, where this is now turned into a rescue mission. We had a police chase, now a rescue mission where the suspect slammed into a car and then proceeded to go a little more. This really shows you.
Look how many men are doing this right now. You got to give it up to these guys.
Yeah, this just shows you how powerful.
Wow.
Look at that.
Oh.
Hopefully
wow.
that driver's going to be okay. Wow. Looks,
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, pretty banged up, really bad. Obviously disoriented. Obviously very scared, shocked. I mean, you just got slammed. Probably going about 50 to 60 miles per hour there.
Right.
Ouch. Wow. Well.
Oh my gosh.
The boys in blue once again,
Let's see
helping
what's
out
going on.
community members
yeah.
there.
That car hit too.
Wow.
And let's